Good afternoon, this is Rich Nelson with Allendale, covering the wrap-up commodity comments. This is Monday, January 9th of 2012. Overall higher prices today. Interesting to see that most of the grain rally was based on grain-based fundamentals. Kind of quiet action as far as news from the outside market here. Corn up 8.5 cents, soybeans up 36.5 today, and wheat up 17. So it's interesting to see that we came back within the higher end of the range from last week's trade. As far as key issues here for corn, not too much as far as brand new news. We're still, of course, looking at Argentine weather being the main issue right now. The fact that after we finish with the rains, which will hit last half of today into tomorrow, looks like a drying period overall going in from Wednesday on out. So that's one thing here. Also got to point out with the average trade guess for Thursday's report, they are trading suggesting that corn ending stocks will fall from 848 million bushels down to 749 million bushels. So that's still a supportive viewpoint, supportive issue here for us right now as well. Over on the soybeans, interesting to see this morning that we had an unknown buyer pick up 145,000 tons of U.S. soybeans. And, we have some people suggesting that unknown buyer could be China. And that could reignite some talk that perhaps China may come back into this market, maybe actually buy some of these some of this U.S. product. That's a good news to hear, or a good rumor to speculate on for the short term here. Also, we got to point out as far as this Argentine issue, keep in mind for weeks and weeks we've mentioned that this Argentine weather problem is a corn problem. Corn pollination goes from late December into the first half of January. So actually we're finishing up with corn pollination right now down in Argentina. What's interesting right now is we're now transitioning into looking ahead towards the future at the soybean yield determination phase. And for soybeans, that is from later January through pretty much through all of February here. So as we move kind of from this period of looking at January weather and we start looking at some of the extended forecasts for Argentina, well, you know what, if they do turn drier for the end of this week, and into next week, then the trade might start thinking that this dry phase will also last into the end of the month, and therefore begin to hit some of the soybean yield determination phase here. So that's also a little supportive here for soybeans, changing perceptions about potential dryness lasting for a few more weeks in Argentina. For wheat, up 17 cents here today. We will note, of course, support from corn, as wheat is pretty much trading as a feed substitute for corn, so the price relationship is still very strong there. Also for wheat, we've got to point out there are two separate Taiwan purchases here of U.S. wheat, which are supportive. Earlier this morning on the Market Movers Report, also known as the AM Grain comments here on our research product, we noticed that, we noted that Taiwan purchased 84,000 tons of U.S. wheat. Also during the trade session, it was interesting to see that another Taiwanese feed group, went out and purchased 37,000 tons of U.S. wheat. So we have some people suggesting that perhaps we're seeing some last-minute buying before that Thursday's report as more of a what-if type of issue on covering some feed needs for some Asian buyers. Over on livestock today, a little lower here for both cattle and hogs. Cattle finished down about 37 cents here. We still have these kind of slightly bearish issues here for the short term. Obviously, we have this weather issue being a little bearish issue for right now, as it could imply a slighter than normal decline in terms of weights as we go in from winter down into spring and summer. So the bottom line here, as far as weight gains, they will be a little better than normally at this time of year, and the trade's trying to price that in. We will point out the cattle down 37 cents today on the Feb contract. We're now getting closer to that target, or to a gap on the charts. Monica, in this afternoon's wrap-up comments, or this afternoon's weekly broker meeting, noted that this gap runs from 118.97 to 119.15 on the February contract. So more or less 119 could be a chart-based objective for the February contract. Over on the hogs, down 52 cents here today. One thing we got to point out with the hogs is we do have, while cattle are still struggling, when normally this should be an uptrending time of the year, the situation is different for hogs. This is normally an uptrending time of the year, and cash hogs are uptrending. Last week we saw a $3.73 gain in cash hog prices. So certainly we are seeing the normal uptrend happen overall. But for the short term, for today and the next few days, the trade is talking about these recent slaughter numbers. The fact that slaughters in the past 4 weeks, we're running about an average of around 3% higher than last year. USDA's Hogs and Pigs report only suggested that maybe up to 1% higher than last year. So for the short term, the trade's wondering, wow, we've had a few extra hogs come through the packing plant. Does that mean a few extra hogs will continue over the next few weeks? And our token thought on this issue is the fact that we think that's actually indicative of a potential shortfall in marketing numbers in the next few weeks. We don't feel that USDA was that far wrong in these numbers. So it's interesting to see we have some changing perceptions where we have some people thinking that maybe this market will not have a seasonal rally where, we're looking at the actual prices in the past few weeks and we actually are seeing that seasonal rally happen. So we're going to suggest that this market is still stronger than the trade is expecting here. One thing we're going to point out as far as our big picture issues here is at this afternoon's weekly broker meeting. And if you are a subscriber to Allendale's research, you have access to our Monday afternoon meeting where we sit down with the brokers and talk about some things we're looking at for the week ahead. Key issues were covered here in today's meeting, where corn prices could be at different ending stocks. So we have these estimates out for ending stocks for Thursday's report, and we have some price estimates based on those ending stock guesses. Take a look at this weekly broker meeting and see for yourself where corn prices could go if the average trade guess is right. Also of interest, we did have a little more to talk on this talk of the seasonal rally in cattle prices. Why it's not happening right now, and may that change in the coming weeks here. So we had a little more discussion on this issue here. And as I said before, if you are a subscriber to Allendale's research, that's available to you. Simply go to the Allendale's website, check out the Allendale Advisory Report, hit the wrap-up page, which is also called Simple Wrap-Up. So take a look at that here and get more information there. As far as the other issue in front of us here, well, we've got to point out Wednesday is the last day that you can get the reduced rate for the hotel for Allendale's conference. That, of course, is going to be on the 20th and 21st of this month. So point out, the time is running out to get this Allendale reduced rate for your hotel reservations. Get this ticket lined up if you haven't already by calling Allendale here, 1-800-262-7538, and we'll also let you know the phone number of that hotel and the reduced rate that's available through until Wednesday. So keep in mind that time is running out to get busy and get some work done here as far as making some plans for Allendale's conference on the 20th and 21st. If you have any questions about markets, marketing, markets in general, trading, give us a call here at Allendale, 1-800-262-7538. This is Rich Nelson. Have a good trading day and a good trading week.